Hey, what's up, builders? It's your girl, Kantoinette the blogger, and you are now listening to the LBF podcast. This is a very special, very unique episode, and I have Nique Crews here of the Relationship Status podcast. Say something for the builders, Nique. And I have a very special guest too. She was on the Women's Health Vagina Monologues about season 2, if I'm not mistaken. So, Keshia, back again. Say something for the
Hi.
builders.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
So today we're going to be talking about sex, love, and dating after 30. And of course, we know that I just turned 30. So
Dirty,
really,
dirty.
30.
right. It's really just research for me. Hopefully I don't know a lot of older people that would be willing to have this conversation. So maybe that'll happen at some point during the podcasting. But for now, I have you wonderful ladies. So let's start with your age if you're comfortable with saying it. If not, we can move on. We'll start with you, Nique.
All right, I'm 34. I'm about to be 35.
How
Oh,
how
yeah.
close is your birthday coming up?
I'm June.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You got a little time. Any
But
special
I'm
plans?
ready. Oh, yeah, I'm ready. Wine tasting with my friends. I
Oh,
celebrate the entire month. I buy
yes.
myself a gift every day.
Yeah. I don't know about every day. It gets a
Oh,
little
no, every
expensive.
day. No, no, because I do small gifts.
Okay.
Just
And
little
then you
tiny
go
gifts,
to,
like a dollar gift
yeah.
here or there.
I'm
Yeah.
not even mad at it. I go all out for my birthdays. Like, I go crazy.
I do too. It's my new year.
Why are you shaking your head at me, Keisha?
Because you go all out, do everything.
It's a holiday.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
You have to celebrate yourself.
You have to. So, y'all around the same age. You want to tell the builders how old you are, Keisha?
I'm 35. I'll be 36 in October.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got that, like, kind of like a middle ground at this point.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm learning
I'm
too.
telling you. So we'll start here. What do we want now in our 30s that we didn't want or we didn't even think about when we were in our 20s? From your own perspective. It don't have to be a clean answer. It can even be something
Any
simple.
answer.
Yeah.
For me, I started to realize I don't know what I want. I don't. I had an idea of what I wanted when I was younger, and I would focus on that so much to realize, like, when I actually got it, I didn't want it.
Right.
So, like, now I'm just kind of figuring that out.
And that's an honest place to start from because you have all these expectations and, like you said, all these ideas. And
Hmm.
a lot of them are socialized, right? So we have
Yeah,
these ideas that are placed on us or that we're conditioned to feel like we want these
exactly.
things. But then when we actually get some of them or when we grow a little bit as a person, we realize, like, this
I
don't
don't want
fit.
that.
This
Yeah,
ain't it. What
we're
about
meant
you,
to.
Keisha?
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say we're kind of meant to feel like we deserve to have certain things when really we don't even know we want it.
Right, or even if it's going to be a good fit for our personality and our
Yeah, our
deepest
life.
desires. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like marriage and kids. Let's talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Keisha, I know you're on the other side of this. What do you think?
So for me, as I got older, I realized I want stability.
Mm,
Still have fun, but definitely want that stability, no drama, and be able to take it, day by day with no stress. I don't got time for that,
right.
and
Nobody.
live life to the fullest.
I agree with
Definitely.
that. Definitely stability, security. What do I want now that I didn't want in my? I feel like I've been old forever.
You just
I
turned
had a like an
30.
older mindset. You've always felt like you've thought certain ways, but in reality, I know what I've wanted changed. And sometimes it's the small stuff. I used to care about. I don't know. I can't even articulate it, but I used to care about things that really didn't matter. And it's the small things that I'm starting to realize I want. I want somebody that
Hmm.
cleans up after themselves.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
somebody who I don't have to teach certain things, but somebody who is willing to learn if I do have to, teach you something about how to be in this life with me. Um, and from my own personal, standpoint, I want to have fun, like you said. I want to get to a space where I feel like I've been grinding all my 20s. I want to be able to experience life a little bit more and not be so anxious all the time. So that's what's been changing for me towards the end of my 20s, as opposed to, I just, like I said, I just turned 30. So it's going to be interesting to see what else I'll say in the next couple of years.
Oh, a lot is going to change. Trust me.
I can imagine so. I can imagine so. Hopefully, I'm starting off right though. Um, how do we approach love now in our 30s as opposed to how we approached it in our 20s? How do you approach love?
I
Why
don't
you
want to
look
go.
shy? What you said?
I was gonna go ahead and let Keshia go, and she looked like she was like, "Oh."
um Now I approach it more honesty. Um let them know this is what I am going to do, this is what I'm not going to do, because as you get older, you don't want to create a habit or let
Mm,
something build, and then later on it's like, okay, I really can't deal with it.
right. I should have
Mhm.
said something back then. That
I
red
should have
flag
said
or
something.
something.
And then
Yeah.
because when you start loving somebody,
Mm,
lusting somebody, or start dropping them clothes for them, having sex with them, it start making things difficult when you want to cut them off because of stuff you should have said about before.
Yeah. Start
I
making it
had
blurry.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
this quote that I said, and I think I said it before on the podcast, but I had a saying where I was like, I let silence keep me in a lot of situations that speaking my mind should have gotten me out of. And that was a lot of my 20s. In my 30s, I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to do.
Well, take that filter off.
You going to be
Take
okay
that
with it or you
filter off.
not. But that's not going to change my mind, and setting that boundary, especially even when it comes to love, because a lot of times we let like you said, the guise of love, we let it get away with a lot of stuff, right? So we
Mhm.
can set boundaries with everybody else, but when we get our heart involved, it's like we make it more difficult for us to be raw and messy and honest and
Mhm.
blunt, but now I'm learning that the truest form of any love is to be your honest and full self, and that means coming with boundaries. That means coming with what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept, so that you can get the kind of love that you deserve. Yeah. What about you, Neat?
Okay, approaching love. I look at it completely different now than I did when I was 20
Mm-hmm.
something. Um, I approach it with no expectations. I think I had said this before to you, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone looked at me crazy. And the reason why is because I don't put a lot of time into nothing. And what I mean by that is I don't give someone a lot of my time up front. Like the long conversation. I'm not going to sit on the phone with you and talk to you for a month and never go out with you. Like, when are we going out? Like,
Got you.
it's like, come on, what are we doing?
You need action
So,
behind it.
yeah, so that's why when I go into it, I don't have any expectations because I'm looking at you for the first time and I'm allowing you to show me who you are. So I'm kind of going into it with my eyes wide open,
All right.
watching what you do and what you show me and really listening with my eyes instead
Really
of,
listening.
yeah, instead of closing, turning a blind eye to those red flags that I really need to pay attention to. All because, when you're on the phone, it's different. Like you
Mm-hmm.
could fall in lust over the phone, and then next thing you know, you go out with this individual, you kind of feel obligated to continue on because you like the way that person made you feel over the phone.
Oh, you speaking from
No,
experience.
yeah, no, I mean, but yeah, well, yeah, I am speaking from experience. So, like, I go ahead and get that date out of the way. Like, hey, let's go out. Like, and it doesn't even have to be, no major big date. I approach it so much differently because in my 20s, it was like, oh, you had to have money. You had to take me here. You had to take
You're
me
right.
there. No, I'm not going out with you. No, no. Let's let's have a real conversation. Let's face to
Yeah.
face.
I think that's important too. Not only get the first date out the way, get the first couple of months out the way.
Yes.
Because that, when you start really being in someone's life, right? So when you start, being a part of their routine, you start to really see who that person is, because you can only keep up a mask for so much, but we're so
Mm-hmm.
quick to, paint these pictures for each other about who we are, on the surface, that it's just like, now let me get to the meat and potatoes
Yep.
of what's, going on underneath all that. But you said something important. You started off with, how you differed from your 20s. In my 20s, oh, love was a fairy tale. Love was Disney.
Yes.
Love,
Somebody was gonna come sweep me off my feet.
that was it.
Right.
And it was that simple for me. So it was just like, whenever I did feel like I was in love, it was a total body experience. It was a total life experience. And I lost myself in the relationships because I allowed love, romantic love at least, to be the focal point. So when you're coming from that mindset, you make a lot of mistakes, as I did with losing yourself as a woman. So if I'm getting with someone who's, not even a man yet, and I'm still, pouring everything into him, I made a lot of mistakes with just not giving myself the kind of self care and self love that I needed to sustain and to grow as a woman. So I'm definitely not doing that, and haven't been doing that for a while. But it was a necessary mistake that I made, and that a lot of us make in our 20s. Hopefully you grow out of it. So
Oh, you do. You
right.
You
really
will.
do.
Well,
That's
but
why
some people
I always,
don't.
well, that's why I always tell people to remove an expectation. And I know everybody says, no, you have to have expectations. No, people give you expectations.
Yeah.
And we bring over those expectations from past situations.
Hmm.
And you go into it with, I'm going to expect this out of this individual when, and I hate to put that on a new individual coming in my life. Like, I'm not going to tolerate certain things. Yes, I'm going to take that with me. But as far as like, oh, I have to have flowers on the first date, that individual may come a lot stronger than just flowers. So I can't just say, okay, he didn't bring me flowers. He may bring me flowers on the fourth date. He may have his own standards of where he wants to go to or head to. So I don't like to put expectations on it. And I have to, at 34, I really had to look at it and approach love completely differently with an open mind and look at it in a different light.
Right. So you're saying putting expectations on the way that they date you. Because for me, I'm just like, I think my expectation starts with how you show up. So if you're not showing up with the basics of like being an adult, no, I can't rock with you. I don't need you coming and you have less than me and you're struggling in a way that I would have to help you in some ways. And I don't think that, for me, that comes from a place of constantly being someone who puts on a cape for people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to be careful not to put myself back into that space, because once we get our heart involved again, we're gonna do anything and everything for the people that we love. And so if I can make a standard at least for how you show up and how you present yourself and how you're operating already solo in your life, then that prevents me from getting in a situation where I'm compromising what I really deserve.
But that's your standard.
Right.
I have that as well. That's your standard. Your standard and your expectation is two different things. Your standard is the quality that you want out of an individual. So
Mhm.
I want my standard for someone. I want somebody that's stable financially, mentally, emotionally. I just want a stable individual because that's what I bring to the table. So I
Right.
completely understand that. But my expectation is what I expect from that person out of that relationship, and I
Right.
can't put that on them before we're even in the relationship. So that's why I go with I don't have an expectation on them as of yet because I
Mhm.
don't want to be dating them in my head before I'm actually dating them.
Got you. See, I think the one of the first episodes I did, I think it was relationship status. And we were talking about going Dutch on the first date, and I was like,
Oh
I don't
yeah.
mind. Like for me, I was just like, if we're we're coming equal, right?
Mhm.
That means I'm getting to know you, you're getting to know me. I don't mind going Dutch on the first date. After that, yes, of course, there is going to be some kind of a standard where I expect to feel more feminine in a lot of
Mhm.
ways with you taking care of certain things. And I'm going to allow you to, have your own standards on how I should operate in your life as well. But um, I think it's all personalized. It's all about what you
Definitely.
can handle and what your experiences have shaped you to, like you said, expect or not expect.
Mhm.
Keshia, you want to let them know what love journey you on right now?
So, Chris, I'm gonna get you. Hey, Antoinette. So I've been engaged for about a year and a half now. So I'm
Oh,
on
congrats.
starting on this. It's been a while. So I'm starting on this journey to plan for my wedding and everything.
Yeah, I've
So
been getting on that butt about this wedding planning.
yeah, so I'm on that journey of planning my wedding, and for the late summer. So just trying to make it happen.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How has
Yes.
transitioning from singleness into, a couple been for you?
So I tell anybody, especially I tell you and anybody that talks about relationship, just make sure that's what you want, because you're gonna go into learning what you can and cannot, what you will and will not tolerate,
Hmm.
and then you got to know when to make that sacrifice, and you got to compromise, because now you're letting a whole individual into your space, and it can't. You got to realize it can't always be about you, and what
Right.
you think is common sense may not be common sense to them. So you got to have that patience to explain to them, hey, I ain't with that, or hey, we need to work on this because
Right.
this happened and I'm not tolerating this, or I'm not used to this.
Right.
And then you got to look at the family, if they got kids.
Because
You know, and you
I asked, because, at this moment in time, I'm transitioning from singleness into,
Oh,
it's
into
still
a
hard for me.
relationship.
Whew, I can't even say the word, but I'm transitioning. And I'm realizing a lot of the small stuff, right? So being single for a while, or even having a different kind of past relationship, and going into something that's a everyday thing, right? So I'm used to having long distance relationships. This one is not long distance. Um, and so it's really incorporating somebody into your life in a way I have never done before. Pretty much all of my relationships have been long distance. So with this happening, I'm realizing it's the small stuff that really matters. It's the, did you pick your socks up off the floor? Who gonna cook? Who doing the grocery shopping? You know what I'm
okay.
saying? Who getting up to let the pet out so it can pee and poop and eat and stuff. Like, it's a lot.
And a lot of people talk, oh, I want a relationship, but
Mhm.
it's different when you can go back home to your own house. Like he goes to his place
Mhm.
and you go to yours. But then when you're moving in, like you say, you got to talk about the little stuff, because you got to talk about the bills. What if
Mhm.
you come short of your bill?
Well,
Or
we both
if I
come
bought,
short.
well, what happened?
Well, we both come short. Like,
Right. Where's our backup plan? Or if I pay this bill for you, that just don't mean that I don't want my money back. I want my money back. Little things like that. And like you said, taking the pet out, or making sure that if you come home early, why are you waiting for me to cook? Why can't you cook? You was
and if
home
I
all
cook, who cleaning the dishes?
that part. Or if you cook, don't make this big old mess and expect for me to clean it up, because I didn't I didn't cook, so I ain't clean it up. That's just
Why
my
do
motto.
men make such a mess in the kitchen? I
All
don't
on the
understand.
floor.
Because you know
Why?
what? Men are not used to being able to cook big meals for more than one person than themselves.
Maybe that's true, but this is so even challenging those gender roles too. So in my new situation, the person cooks more than me, and they
Oh.
cook better than me. So I don't
You're like,
mind
okay,
doing
I'll stay out in the kitchen.
I don't mind doing it. I mean, I cook sometimes, but I don't mind doing the grocery shopping for that. You know what I'm saying? So, even that and for me to get to a point where I thought, I had kind of figured out, dating and matured a lot in it and going into a situation I had never been before. To see the dynamics and the things that really matter on a day-to-day basis because that patience, that compromise, that communication is what will sustain or kill that connection. And I had gotten to a point at some point in my 20s where I was just like, I ain't gonna teach no man how to do nothing, blah, 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 blah. If you're gonna be in a relationship,
You're gonna do some teaching
you're
because
gonna
you
do
got
some
it.
Yeah.
teaching and you're gonna
There's
do
two
some
different.
learning.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got called out for the first time and it felt like forever by my partner. And I was just like, this how it feel when I call other people out. This don't feel great. Like, I'm perfect.
How did you react?
I
Yes.
accepted it. At first, your first reaction is to go on the defense, right?
Not always.
Not always, but for someone who is used to always,
Having
looking
your
at
own
how
space.
other people need, and I'm a real empathetic person, so it's usually I can catch certain stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, not saying I kid about the perfection thing, but I try to make everybody's experience with me a good one,
Mm-hmm.
at least in relationships. But when you miss something and when you realize that it's like you have flaws, but when you interact so closely with someone, they can call out exactly what those flaws are. It's a different experience. Because for me, for so long, it's just been me and then, me interacting with my friends and stuff like that. But it's a different level of getting to know yourself through the lens of someone else that a relationship brings you to. And so for me, it was just like I said, my first reaction was to think, "Oh, you tripping," and then I really had to sit back and be like, "No,
Wow.
you're
You need to
right.
fix.
Yeah.
I need to fix that."
But it's definitely different sharing your space with someone. My first apartment, um, I lived with a guy, and it was completely different. I wasn't even 30 yet. No, matter of fact, no, I was just turning 30. Yes, I was just
That was
turning
your first
30.
time ever living with a guy?
First time ever living with a guy. I remember because I remember he bought me a book for my birthday. Um, we never had a conversation about bills because he was moving into my apartment.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he kind of just, how you kind of get stuck spending the night all the time, and then eventually it's just like, okay, you're here.
Yeah.
And then you start to unfold and find out, okay, what bill are you going to take on?
Well, we kind of living together at this point.
Yeah. And it got to a point where it's like, I can't really afford to take on all of the bills. So that was a big conversation, but it was definitely an experience. And it was an experience because I'm a person that I like my alone time.
Yes.
And I'm used to being alone. I'm the only
Right.
girl. I'm used to having my space. I have a lot of friends, but when I'm by myself, I'm by myself.
And I'm
So
enjoying being solo dolo.
yeah, I enjoy coming home and not having to answer to anybody or anything like that.
Don't talk to me when I get here.
Yeah.
Let
So
me
that
digress from work.
yeah.
Okay.
So to have to share my bed with an individual.
Oh my God, that was the small thing too. I've been having the worst pains in my neck. So my neck has always been a problem with me. But it's like when you're starting to sleep as a couple, when you're used to sleeping as a single person, that's a whole nother thing. Does
Yes.
the person like the TV on? Do I don't sleep in the dark. So what we gotta do, we gotta get a nightlight.
Yeah, because
Sleep
I
with
sleep
the
with the
fan
TV
on.
on.
The fan. It's hot in here. I need some air circulating through here. I don't
But
sleep with the door open.
but
How
you
many
know what's so
pillows?
crazy? Those things are very small, and we complain about them just a little bit. Like God, if I was in the bed by myself, I wouldn't have these issues.
Hmm.
But after experiencing someone sleeping in your bed with you and having that comfort next to you, when they're not there for just one night,
Child, I
it's so
know.
different. It's so different.
So right now I'm splitting my time between my apartment and this person's apartment, right? So we do like half the week here, half the week, or the weekends are mine here, and then there. and that's how we operate, to kind of incorporate each other into our own routine. So we neither one of us have to give up totally, because I'm not to the point yet where I'm just like, we're moving in together. That's a
Take your
big step for me.
time.
I've never done it.
Yeah, take your time.
But I mean, basically, it's like we are, because we're splitting everything between households at this point. But I get to that point where I'm just like, I'm starting to get a little irritable. I'm starting to get a little anxious. I need to be in my own space, or I need to be alone. And then when
Hmm.
I come home, I'm just like,
You miss
bed
them.
cold. Why the bed so cold?
Hmm.
The bed was this cold before when I was single. Like, so it's a learning process, definitely. But as far as like having the conversation about like merging households and everything, I have had it. And one of the things I have learned in my 20s, and I'm gonna incorporate continuously in my 30s, is to ask those questions like, how
Hmm.
are your finances? Like, how do you divide up the bills? If you live with somebody, like, what would they be responsible for? Do you have a savings account? Because I've ran into these problems in my
Hmm.
other connections with people. And granted, we didn't live together, but I know how important it is to feel secure.
It
And
is.
one of my biggest things to feel secure is to have somebody who is financially my equal, or higher, as a partner, so that I don't ever have to feel like the burden is all on me.
Hmm.
So,
Just a word of advice. You don't have to take
oh no, no,
it.
I'm listening.
um, keep your space.
Oh, you ain't gotta
Keep
tell
your
me that,
space.
girl. No.
And the reason why I say that is because it's easy to be wrapped up in each other and want to spend a lot of time with each other. You
Mm-hmm.
have that option. You're always going to have that option. That option is never going to go away. But you're going to come to a point where you are an individual and you're not married.
Right.
Always have I can go home into my own environment and I don't have to leave my home for anybody.
Right. I've always said, if once I merge my household, or if I merge my household with a person of the male
Hmm.
species, or anybody really, I'm gonna need my own. We can have a master room. I'm gonna need
Hmm.
another room. The master room
I
is
feel that
ours.
way too.
I need my own,
Yeah.
and the person that I'm dealing with now, they understand that. They understand, like, oh, okay, like we need to have, like, we choose to do this, we need to have enough space, so you have your creative room, for you to have, the space that you need to do what you got to do. As long as we on the same page, I'm good with that. But I know myself well enough now, and I've done enough work to know, like, once I've lost myself in so many other relationships, I
Hmm.
know how important it is to just be an individual. And I've
Hmm.
fallen in love with myself so much now that I don't think I can go back to just pouring everything and swallowing, or being swallowed whole by a relationship. I don't think that's possible at this point.
Awesome. No,
Yeah.
but just that's my advice to turning 30.
Yeah. That's good advice. It really is, because a lot of people don't think of it. And it happens in small ways, because I just had a situation this week where I realized that, I wasn't losing myself
Hmm.
completely, but it's in those, like, again, those small ways. Like, okay, now my routine has completely changed. Who is giving up more of their routine? And how is that affecting the relationship or the individual? And I had to
Hmm.
really be honest with myself about that, and be like, girl, your routine all jacked up.
But I'm happy you're having those conversations with yourself
Oh
because a lot
yeah.
of people don't. A lot of people like completely disregard all of that and just kind of get lost in the relationship and
Hmm.
lose completely who they are. So I'm very happy that you're having those conversations with yourself, kind of stepping back and seeing what everything is. So you're not just walking into something and then before you know it, you're like, where am I?
Right. I think once I have that feeling of, oh wait, where we going? I'm asking questions. Like, once I realized, like, it was getting a little bit more serious, or probably by the second day, it's like, what's going on? Like, what's happening here? So, yeah. So, how do you see love manifesting in your life, like going forward? What do you feel like the 40s, the 50s, the 60s will look like for you?
Woo. I'll be honest. I've never wanted to get married until I got into my 30s. I always just wanted one child maybe, and that's it. Maybe a companion later on in life when I
Mm-hmm.
turn like 60, 70, we can have paperwork. But I never wanted to be completely like just I'm somebody's until I got into my 30s.
Right.
Um, so now I kind of handle myself differently. Like when it comes to, I just got out of a relationship in last May.
Okay, so
So
it's still within a year.
yeah, I'm still a little
How's your
fresh,
healing process going with that?
still a little fresh,
Still a little, still a little raw.
still a little fresh, still a little fresh. It's not completely. Well, we broke up in May of last year, and I completely left him alone last week.
Okay, wait
To
a
be
minute now,
honest,
Neat.
to be honest, to
Wait a
be
minute now, Neat.
honest,
Let's rewind this real
yeah,
quick.
to be completely honest, and the reason why is because I was trying too soon to be over it. Like, okay, it's
Trying to rush
easy,
yourself and
yeah.
not giving yourself grace.
And I was like, you know what, it's. I don't want him to think that I'm not over it. We can be friends. We can do this. We can do that. And I realized, like, you know what? I'm falling right back into the same situation. No, I got to cut you off for a while.
Right.
We'll revisit in a couple of months. Right now, I need my space. So yeah, last week I really had to sit down and have a talk with myself, not him, with myself. Yeah, it's the healing process of trying to get over it has sucked majorly. Um, I used to be a open book. I didn't mind who knew what, where, how. Now
Oh, it's some scars that keep you from that remind you and that keep you from going forward. And I'm learning that more and more as I progress in this new connection that oh girl, you're a little bit more damaged than you thought you were, and it's
hmm
okay because the communication and you have somebody that's gonna work with you and you are being gracious with yourself, but at the same time it's really a real conversation to have about how the healing process is a continuous one. Like it's not just a one and done. You just say you over something because when you have your heart involved again, you're gonna have some things that come back up for you. And my best friend had to have a real talk with me the other night, and she was like, "You keep getting triggered because you haven't fully forgiven past situations."
hmm
And when she said that to me, I was just like, how I don't know how else to do it. Like I don't know, like what you mean. Like I forgave as much as I could, but the honest truth is, until I completely let go of the things that were hard on me, and hard on my heart, hard on my spirit, I'm going to continuously be triggered moving forward. And that's something I had to be honest about with myself because I don't want to sit there and continuously feel like a landmine for somebody else.
That is true. But by the time I turn 40, 50, or 60, uh, I want to be so in love with myself more than I am now. That, like, I don't know. I don't even think I'm looking at marriage anymore.
40 and 50, you like, nah,
Uh,
bump it. You have a
you
whole
know
bunch of little
what?
boyfriends in the home.
Yeah, friends. I'll say friends, little
Oh, you know they
companions.
say friends.
Yeah. Your grandma used to say, oh, your little friend. Y'all ain't married. That's your little friend.
No, I call my grandma. My grandma be like, "Oh yeah, my friend came over." What friend, grandma? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
friend. And but yeah, that's kind of what I want. I just want a little bit more. I mean, if something happens along the way, of course, I'm going to put, effort into it. But as of right now, what I see, just falling in love with myself again.
I like that. That I mean, and that's something that you can always depend on. It's like you're gonna always be there. Might
Mm-hmm.
as well fall in love and enjoy your journey, your life journey with the one person
Mm-hmm.
who is always gonna be there, yourself.
Me.
What about you, Keshia? How do you see your next decades going?
Of course, be married and but better the relationship more. You know,
Mm,
um, hopefully a family. I don't just one.
just one. That's
Nee,
it.
yeah. Like Nee said, in my 20s, I was like, yeah, I want to be married. I want to have 3 kids. We're gonna have this and that. As I got older, going through the 20s and like see friends, and I'm involved with a lot of children. I was like,
I'm
Mm-mm.
good.
I, just
Yeah.
give me maybe two, but I'll just take one and I'll be happy. And then we
Mm,
just grow as a family. Continue to love ourselves no matter what. Don't want to lose your self love in that marriage.
right.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing just continue to love myself, love him more. If we get a family, just build love amongst ourselves and love others.
Oh, I
Love
love
is
that.
scary for me right now. Like, and I'd be so, like, thinking about, like, I don't know. How am I trying to say this? Because I'm trying to get real vulnerable right now. It's just scary when I think about, like, a whole life journey with another person.
It is. It takes an effect because then you sit down and you think about like
What you
what
gonna
I
have to
thought
go
about.
through?
Yeah, because it was like
Because
now
it's
I
not gonna
got
be
this.
all roses. It's
It's,
not.
so my journey the last couple of years, it wasn't all rose. I think within our first year, we experienced that sickness road, and I was just like, ooh, am
Right.
I ready for this? Because when you start loving somebody, they get sick, and you don't know what to do. You like
Mm-hmm.
don't want them to hurt, and I'm just like,
And then the dynamic
am
of
I
the relationship changes too.
Yeah.
changes? And it's like, am I really ready for this? Like, and
Through
then we've
sickness and
also been
health.
through, yeah. So it toughens your relationship as you go through stuff, and then you go through death. We've been through several deaths, like on our families, and
Mm-hmm.
being there for it's like, okay, now I got to be there for them when they mourn, and I
Yeah.
got to learn how to comfort them. Like, am I really ready for this? That's what I'm telling people. You want that relationship? Sure, that's what you want.
Look, and my best friend told me that, and I was just like, listen, I think I had stopped saying that before this happened because I was good with my singleness. Like, this came out of nowhere. Okay, so for me, is understanding that it's okay to be in it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I had this realization where I was just like, oh my god, I'm not single no more. You know, I'm really not, just plain single anymore. I can always make the decision to go back, but like you said, Keshia, like going through the hard stuff kind of in the beginning of the relationship, or it kind of lets you know what you're getting yourself into and how the person handles conflict, or how the person handles, those moments where everything around you could be like going wrong, but the person is showing up and still making sure that they're being part of the connection that you and them are trying to build. So I mean, it's good parts all up and through there, but I
Mm-hmm.
scared.
Don't be scared. I
Yeah.
used to be scared as well. I used to be scared to fall in love or even think. Now I love the thought of love. I love the thought of love because I don't know, and the reason why we're so scared of love is because we're selfish. We're scared of removing our selfishness, of considering another human being.
I agree
Like
with that. I'll caveat a little bit on that. I agree with that, but I know my capacity to completely remove myself, and that's what makes me scared. Because even though I'm just like, I don't think I'll ever go back to a point where I lose myself in a connection, it's always that thing where it's just like sometimes you do stuff and you don't even realize, how much you have just poured out because
I wouldn't
it's
even
in your
say
nature to do so.
I wouldn't even say it's about that. Like, imagine being single for a very, because I don't know how long you were single, but being single and being carefree.
I'm counting. I think it was like a year and a half.
A long time for me.
So it was
Yeah,
a
it was a
long
year
time
and a half.
before this relationship too, and it's gonna be a long time now.
Did you say that? Keep on. That's what I said. Keep on talking, Nick. The universe hear you.
I mean, I could have a friend, but right now it's about me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think and then when I say it's hard for us to consider another human being, is because it is not even about losing ourselves. It's about our routine. Like you said, you start to realize your routine change because
Mm-hmm.
you understand, like, you have a routine with your family, you have a routine with your friends, you have a routine with your kids, you have a routine with your pets, you have a routine with work. So you have a whole entire life that now you have to fit someone in. And
Right.
in that fitting someone in, others are going to suffer. And that's
Right,
going to
because it's only
challenge
one
you.
you. It's only
Yeah.
one you.
And that's going to challenge you because whereas not that, okay, I can't go out with my friends, is like,
I'd
Gotta
rather
change
be
it
gotta,
home
up.
watching.
not even that you rather be home watching. When you do go out with your friends, you have to handle yourself in a different way now.
Yeah.
So you can't walk around, or you really do have to kind of change who you
Change you.
are,
Yep.
let's
because
let's
you're in
use
a
the word
relationship.
adjust.
Adjust. Okay, perfect. You really do have to adjust who you are and how you act. You don't have to change, everything about yourself, but
Hmm.
you know, like I'm flirtatious.
Hmm.
So I know if I went out to a club, if I'm seen and other people know that we talk, they may see me flirting, and it may be very innocent. I may just be flirting to get a drink.
Hmm.
But if somebody else sees that, they can go back and tell him. He's gonna feel disrespected. That's gonna cause a whole issue where I may not feel like it's an issue, but he feels like it's an issue. Now we're arguing.
I feel
So
like
like,
so that kind of depends on the connection too, because I do have some men that look at my social media or comment on certain things that I do or have before I got into this connection,
mhm.
and they thought that, oh, you're gonna have to stop some of these things.
Oh no,
But
that no.
here's the thing, like, if you're coming into my space, you already know who I am. And I can adjust for you. Granted, with our boundaries, we of course don't invite somebody in who is going to be thinking that they're going to, just
Change you, yeah.
Or
no,
control you.
or
Yeah.
control you, or even on the outside. Once like you said, you go out, don't be inviting, certain
Certain
things, certain
situations.
certain situations in.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that, but it also goes back to your connection as well. Like,
Mhm.
so sometimes I'll come home. I have a pole in my bedroom. I'll come home just so I can dance, and sometimes I might post a little pic, and the person that hit me up be like, "You look nice," or, "Oh, so
But
that's what you're
that's your personality.
doing."
That's who you are though.
Yeah.
So it's no change in who you are versus acting like a single person. Because you have to understand, like when we're out and about or even in our regular lives, we are single. So we act single. We don't realize it until it approaches us. So whereas like I said, being flirtatious, a slight bit of flirtation that you feel like is harmless because to you in your head it's not going anywhere. It's not. I'm not doing anything with this individual. I'm not giving this individual my number. This is just who this is just a part of my routine to
Hmm.
get me a drink because he's talking to me. I'm just being friendly. I may be a little bit too friendly, might rub on it, but you have to understand
What
that.
you rubbing on me?
No, I know a
What?
shoulder, a
Oh,
shoulder, rub on the
okay.
shoulder, like, hey, okay, a little tap.
Got you. I was just playing.
But you never know how that may look to someone else and how that other person may feel. Like when it comes to posting pictures and stuff like that, no, I don't feel like that should be adjusted. Or you going out with your friends, how you dress, all of
Hmm.
that shouldn't be adjusted because that's a part of your personality, that's a part of who you are, that's you. But just acting single, because if you're in a relationship, if you're married, you're not going to be, you don't want your significant other out there flirting with women, being in their face, buying them drinks, right? So that's how you have to look at it.
I was gonna share a story, but I'm not gonna share it. Because I mean, and I agree. To a certain extent, like, so, like I said, it comes back to whatever connection you have and whatever was in place before, right? So I know I just had a situation where I had to tell the person that I was dealing with, like, it's okay to go mingle, go put on the charm. This is a purpose for you to do this stuff. Go do what you do because it's a part of you building up whatever business that you have. I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay. I know what place is coming from. I know that it's us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay for you to go and do these things. Um, but I can understand, like you said, like at the core of it, the message is you're going to have to adjust. You're going to have to
Mm-hmm.
compromise some things that you're used to. And I think for me, my routine, the reason why I've been so married to it is because it's how I rebuilt myself and
Mm-hmm.
how I rebuilt my self-esteem after, the last situation that I was in. So as far as like going, waking up in the morning, going for a walk, going to the gym, going to yoga, taking the pet out, having those
Mhm.
routines where you just kind of rebuilding your life after, you've had a situation that kind of broke you down. I think that's why people sometimes are so reluctant to start changing that routine, because they feel like they're
Mhm.
good. It feels like you're losing yourself because your routine is your life,
Yeah.
right? So I can understand how, even myself, I've been hesitant of it, but because I'm aware, I make sure that I don't overreact, and try to just close back in, because it's easy to feel like, oh no, I'm just start doing my own thing again.
I'm just gonna go
um
ahead and ghost you, love.
what, it's been nice, but you have to get past that discomfort to get to the
Mhm.
other side of something that could be more than worthwhile. So
Out of your comfort zone.
all right, we're gonna go on to sex and maturing.
You.
Ladies, what do you do to feel sexy? Keisha, let's start with you.
Okay. So I love to, of course, go the basics, get my hair done, my nails, my toes, my eyebrows. But I also like to, stay, shaved up, waxed up or whatever. But I also like to, like on Saturdays, a nice little sundress, just walk around, just be free, just
That's a
enjoy the
sundress.
yeah, the
She
sundress,
said,
little
"Be
mini
free, commando, huh?"
yeah, free commando, and just walk around, play some old school music, take care of my household. And I know that I'm taking care of my business and looking good at the same time. So when
Mm.
he comes home from work, he know what he got.
Oh, all right.
Hey. All right, Nique, what about you?
I like to have a sexy day. I love lingerie.
Okay, me too. I got a whole cabinet full of just lingerie.
I'm trying to learn how to hang them up because I have so much. I have a subscription with Savage, Adore Me.
How is that? Oh, I like Adore Me too, and I said I was gonna try them out. How is Savage though? Because sometimes I feel like the material might be like a little, I don't know.
I love it. It is the best, the
I'm gonna
best. I
try it.
love the little bralette. Oh my god,
Oh,
I
I
love
love a
it.
good bralette, honey. Yes,
And I don't even have much,
I have
so
none, so it's okay.
Oh, how much is it?
but yeah, I love just like when I get off of here, pour myself some wine, make me a nice hot bubble bath, relax, put on some nice music, put on my lingerie, and I sleep by myself in my
I like it.
lingerie. I love that. It makes me feel so, I don't know, it makes me feel sexy. Or even on a Saturday afternoon, I will get up if I don't have my kids. All of this is when I don't have kids, and I
Got
usually
you.
every weekend don't have my kids. On a Saturday morning, I will try to get up as early as I can, take a walk so I can kind of wake myself up,
Mm-hmm.
go treat myself to a coffee somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
Starbucks or at a coffee shop. I will actually get dressed. Not like just a t-shirt and jeans. Like
Yes.
I will actually get dressed. Like you even see if you anytime you come and record with us, you'll see
Mm-hmm.
like I might be dressed up. You're
Oh
like,
yeah,
where
you was
you
gorgeous the
going?
other week. Yes, honey.
Yeah, it's like, sometimes you just need to feel pretty.
Right.
And that's just my moment of, you know what? I work from home. My hair is a bush. Let me let me do something with myself today so I can
Mm-hmm.
feel cute. I'm not doing it for the fellas.
Right.
I'm not doing it for anybody. It's just for me. I just want to feel pretty. Or I might even just put on makeup one day just to feel beautiful.
Right.
Have my little moment. Take pictures.
I can really, girl, the pictures, the makeup, the lingerie. I relate to all of it. Like you said, getting myself up, taking myself to go have breakfast, probably doing a walk in the park. Sometimes I get dressed depending on my mood. So if I feel playful, it's probably crop top. Well, when it's warm enough, it's probably a crop top, some
Mm-hmm.
flat shoes, and a high waisted jean, and I'm going for a bike ride. If I'm feeling more like embodying my masculine energy, is probably some baggy clothes with, some heels to go with it. But all of it just kind of speaks to my own sensual power and how I
Mm-hmm.
want to present it that day. So me feeling sexy is just me a lot of times just creatively expressing myself, whether it be through how I look, what I choose to do, because bubble baths are a staple in my house. I just took one probably like 3 o'clock today. I don't
We're on the
wait.
same page.
When I get the urge to take a bubble bath, I take it. And sometimes it could just be like lighting my candles. I have so many candles in my house, lighting the candles, setting the ambiance. Sometimes I'll just put on perfume. I might be in some sweatpants and I might not be looking that great, but I put on my perfume and I smell delicious and I feel sexy. So it's all about what makes me feel comfortable in my own skin, is how I'll put it. That is what makes me feel the sexiest, is when I feel like I'm just being who I naturally am and I'm just showing up. So, how have your turn ons changed over the years? So, like when you were 20, what used to turn you on versus now?
I'm gonna let y'all go first.
What used to turn me on? That doesn't now, because I feel like I should. What used to turn me on that doesn't now? I felt like I was one of those people who like guys who were like quote unquote popular, and it felt special if they liked you. But
Yeah.
now I'm just like, I really don't care. um just show up and be yourself, and we'll see if we are a good fit for each other. But that was probably a turn on, just the status, the high school thing, the status of the person, and if they were desirable to other people. Um hmm. That's not. No, I feel like I got a lot of the same. Now that I think about it, because how you look, and it might sound petty, but I like someone who can dress. I want to know that you can put some effort into yourself, because to me, that's a form of like self care. I want to know that you care about like cologne. I like that. That's a turn on for me. I like to know that you care about smelling good.
Nice.
Good.
And some men can do it with just soap and deodorant, and Lord, that's another mixture. But
Baby,
when you put the cologne on top and it just flows together, it's just whew. Someone who can make me laugh has always been a turn on for me. I can't even say that's just something that was exclusive to my 20s, because it's working well within my 30s.
that's never gonna change.
It's probably not. But yeah, I don't know. Y'all thought of any
Yeah.
turn ons? Okay.
All right. So in my 20s, my turn on was money. Money.
Yeah, I date a lot of broke guys. Maybe that's my problem.
Well, like when I was like 20, 19, 20, like I was heavy in well, I'm not gonna say in the music industry. I was trying to be a basketball wife. Like I was in Atlanta, I was at the parties. Like that was a small, very small lived lifestyle that I had. Like I've been flown out, what is it called, flown out.
Okay, flew.
Yeah, flown out to little places here and there, been to private parties, but that, and I used to date drug dealers because that's who had
They
the
always
money
got
around
money.
here.
They always got the money.
So like
Always them.
I would be very like if you had a nice watch on and some nice shoes and you look clean, look like you had a little bit of bread, and I seen you 3 or 4 times and you didn't wear the same outfit. Okay, you okay.
Right.
Now it's totally different. I don't even look at face.
Flashy. Yeah.
I don't like flashy at all. I don't look at your face anymore, which used to be a big thing back in the days. Like you had to be cute. Now it's like it's all about personality. Like the way a man carries himself. Like he can be. He can have on a regular t-shirt from Walmart and just some regular jeans, some regular sneakers, but they fit well.
Right.
He smells clean. His skin is shining.
The nails clean.
Yeah. Like he can smell just like soap. And just like, the way he talks, like a deep voice, and he knows he doesn't even have to know what he's talking about. It's just he could just be speaking in a
Something about
tone
a
to where it's
smooth. It's like
firmly.
the oh my god, yeah. It's like something about a voice that's deep enough. Because some a lot of men don't have really deep voices, but when you get that deepness that's still like a little silky,
Yeah, that,
but
and
it's
then
still
it's
smooth.
firm. Oh my God!
Oh,
Like, no, this is what we're doing tonight. Okay.
okay,
Um,
Dad. So I'm kidding.
yeah.
I'm kidding.
Okay. Yeah. I am all for it. That really really turns me on. And a man that can lead, that that is my
Yeah,
biggest thing. Like, and I didn't look for that at all in my 20s. I didn't even pay that attention because that wasn't even my focus at that time.
yeah.
So
I
now,
think my main focus was making sure that I was the type of woman that could just fit with any kind of man. So a lot of times I end up leading anyway. But I think something that I was looking for was like the extra bravado, that extra masculinity, that like toxic masculinity in a lot of ways. Somebody who, wasn't afraid to get into a fight and stuff like that because I felt
oh, Joe,
protected.
baby.
And now I'm just like, give me the quiet.
Yeah.
Give me the
We
quiet strength. I want the
we
person
ain't
in the
even going
corner.
there.
Right. I want the person in the corner that's just looking at everybody like y'all stupid. Like give me that
Yeah.
guy. So
Like, and
that's
I want someone
probably
that can teach me, and once you, and I love a man that can sit down and teach me something and talk to me about something without
without
degrading me,
yes, without
making
being
me feel
condescending.
small,
Oh, that's the
making
biggest
me
turn on.
like, it just does something to me. He'd be like, oh no, I don't mind showing you
Hmm.
this. Won't you try this instead?
Right.
Especially if I do it wrong. That that, yeah.
Listen, I'm on the
Listen.
same page with you because so many men think they're good at like, or they'll have this mindset that I know more than you, and so they
Mhm,
approach teaching you in that way. When a lot of times I'm just like I'm just as smart as you. Like you don't
mhm.
have to talk to me this way. I can just tell me I did it wrong and then show me how to do it. You don't have to. I need some gentleness. I need you to walk me through it. And when a guy can do that and not make me feel like he's like you said condescending or being an ass it's just
Mhm,
like oh wow because I'm so used to being the one that's teaching.
mhm. And I think that's just in our independent, like, we're independent women.
Hmm.
So we feel like we have to kind of lead. Like, I have to teach you how to do X, Y, Z. But for a man to come in, and this is like one of the biggest things, and I was always taught this from one of my neighbors, never to get a man that can't do anything. So if he can't fix the sink, that's okay. He knows somebody that can call, that can come and fix it.
Right.
That is a turn on to me, that he's gonna handle it. Like, oh, don't
Right.
worry about it. It's gonna get handled.
Right.
If it's
I
tired,
don't want to be in charge all the time. Like we can share some of the weight,
mm-hmm,
but I'm to a point now in my life that the biggest turn on is when a man can step into my space and be the man. I don't have to
mm-hmm,
let you lead because you already doing it.
you're
You know what I'm
there.
saying? You don't have to tell me to step out the way because I'm already kind of yielding to your masculine energy and you're allowing me to feel empowered in my femininity. So, oh yeah. Keisha, go
What
ahead and
about you, Keisha?
Well, I agree with everything that you said. That y'all both was talking about. In 20s, of course I looked more for a guy that I thought was gonna please my family,
Mm,
and I was like, no, I can't date you because you got this going on. My mom and daddy or my grandparents not gonna accept it. But now I'm to the point like this is who I love or who I want to be with. You either accept them or not.
right.
Especially we're on the right path and everything. I'm, definitely looking for more acceptance for myself versus family. And then, of course, I looked at that perfect body. So I don't want no man that got this. But
Mm-hmm.
now it's like, mm,
Little
both
dad
of
bod
us
ain't
can't
never
be
hurt
smart.
nobody.
Yeah, I need a little
Listen,
lump right there because I need some heat because I can't keep no heat. So I need somebody to be able to warm me up in the cold.
big
So
arms,
big
oh,
arms can
Big
hold
hands.
me. So
mm-hmm,
yes, and like you said, just a simple shower, smell good. It ain't gotta be strong, overpowering, but something that's smooth and yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
and
think
like you
that's
said, lead.
yes. I think that fits into all of our personalities as well, of who
Mm-hmm.
we want in our space. Like, you don't want the loud, always has attention, always looking flashy individual if you're not that type of individual yourself.
Right. True. I mean, because some of what we're saying could be a turn on for somebody else, even though it's a
Mm-hmm.
turn off for
Yeah.
us. You're completely right. But for me, my house is always pretty much quiet. Some days I don't even turn on my TV. And if I'm listening to anything, it might be a podcast or it might be some music. So I'm just like, if I'm inviting you in my space, I need for you to understand that the quiet hours, okay? I need for you to
Yes.
come in here and don't disrupt whatever piece I got going on. That means your cleanliness, that means your tidiness, that
Mm-hmm.
means your atmosphere, whatever aura you're bringing, your energy. All that has to match and be compatible with what I already have, and vice versa. So,
That was a big compromise I had to do because my significant other, when it was just me, I didn't care for cable. I only had Wi-Fi. So when we started moving in, he's like, "You ain't got no cable for what?" I come home and just listen to some music. He's like, "I gotta watch TV. Well, you can pay that bill," and slowly got
mm-hmm.
into it. But again, when I want my space, my quietness, hey, I'm going in the room. Don't bother me. I need to just relax. Nothing against you. I just need to have my own time. So that was a compromise we had to do for for each other.
Right. And I'm running into that too, because the game and stuff come on, and you got the speakers hooked up to the TV now. The whole neighborhood can hear the game, or music or whatever. And I've learned I love that energy because I feed off other people's energy,
Mm-hmm.
when it's good energy. So I don't mind it, but also knowing when to turn it off is a thing too. Knowing that I don't have to constantly deal
Deal with that.
with a loud household or somebody who's trying to be flashy all the time or want attention. Even having somebody who understands when I need to be alone.
Oh yeah,
And that
Right.
it's not anything dealing with you. It's totally something dealing with me that I'm fine. I just need some alone time.
I agree. I one of the great things in my last relationship that we had so similar that we were calm, and it's crazy
Mm-hmm.
because we had a 9 year difference.
Well, sometimes that's how it works.
Yeah, but like as far as like he didn't like company, I don't like company. Like it's very hard for me to set up and say, okay, my friends, y'all want to come over? Like I really have to like put it in myself. Like, okay, people are gonna come over to your house. 'Cause I
Come
like
over
my
right here.
stuff a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I had friends over and somebody brought somebody else over and she was sitting on my stove and it bothered
How you sit
me.
on somebody's stove?
Like she was
So,
leaning against it.
Oh,
Like
okay. But her
her
oh,
butt was
butt
like
cheek was
kind of
on the
big.
burner.
Yeah, not on the burner. It was on the
The
oven
handle.
handle.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, oh my God,
She
it's
gotta
messing up my
move.
towels, please. And I even told her, like, hey, no disrespect. But
You gotta move your cheek.
he moved, he sit down, I got a chair.
Right.
But like, yeah, I just like my things in a certain place in a certain way, and I like for it to be tidy.
Yeah.
So for both of us to be that way, like, the house is clean. You're not even going to come over here if it's not clean. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to say, oh, excuse the mess. No, you're just not going to come over here if it's a mess. So we were both calm individuals. We were both individuals that we like sports. So we could watch sports all day versus the situation that I had previous before him. He was very, very loud, very flashy. Love, like anytime we went out of town, it wasn't to look at the culture or like I'm more of a adventure person. Like I like to see where,
Museums,
yeah,
zoos,
I like to
stuff
see
like
what it
that.
has to offer. I like to see
Yeah.
the historic things. He was more as in, where's the
Clubs.
nightlife?
Yeah, I know what you're
Yeah, and
talking
I'm like,
about.
there's so much more. Like the nightlife is the same everywhere. It's
Yeah.
just different people, and it
Hookah
may have
bars.
different prices. Like I'm not really into that. I don't like being seen. I like to be seen when I want to be seen, and then I like to be,
Low key.
relaxed when I want to
yourself.
be low key.
Right.
So like that's what we kind of hit, and I could not compromise that. Like, nah, being on Snapchat,
Yeah.
no,
Oh
put your phone
yeah,
down,
the
put your
social
phone
media
down.
and stuff like that. And I mean, and those are conversations, of course, that are unique for the time that we're living in. But definitely, coming back to the compromises, because I'm a neat freak too. I'm someone I will notice when that pillow is not in place, or if you move some of my stuff. Um, and having a not so neat person, I don't mind cleaning up because I'm just like, if you cooking, I'll clean up. Like it doesn't, and learning that sometimes the balance happens in weird ways, that you balance out whatever connection you're trying to build in whatever household you're building with that person. The next question is, how have your thoughts of sex changed over the years?
My sex drive increased.
I hear
Yeah.
that a lot, and mine did too. Probably within the last 2 years. I've always been a little rabid,
Hmm. After I turned
but
26.
I don't know. I didn't think it could get worse.
Oh, it's gonna get worse and
Mm-hmm.
worse. Um, I remember when I was 23 years old, no, about 23, 24 years old, and I was talking to a woman that was my age at
Mm-hmm.
the time. And we were having a conversation about sex, and I was like, girl, please, I can't do all of that, and didn't know. And she was like, give it a few years, love. It's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse. And I'm like, whatever. And surely enough,
It got
as the
worse.
years, yeah, it's just like, in that 9 year gap that me and my ex had, it was so crazy because oh god, he would be like, oh my god, you're not that young, you realize that. I'm like, I know, okay, you ain't gotta sit here and constantly throw that in my face. But like, I'm just like, whoo,
Okay,
I shock
me.
myself sometimes. But what
So
I've
the myth of
also,
the drip is true.
is definitely true. But what I've also noticed is that my body, I started to pay attention to my body. I
Hmm.
learned my body in its cues. So
Yeah.
just because I'm turned on doesn't mean my body wants it.
Yeah. And sometimes you'll just have like something could have stimulated you that it could have
Hmm.
been simple as like you wearing some jeans and something's happening, or
Not even that. Somebody's voice.
somebody, it could be something, a smell. And
Yeah.
for me, I like you said, I in my 20s I did a really good job of learning my body enough to know different functions, and especially within this last year and a half I've been learning my body a lot more. So when the change started happening, I was just like, all right, girl. Every time you want it, you don't have to get it. You can relax, you can chill, you can allow yourself to crave a little bit instead
Hmm.
of feeling as though you have to fulfill this desire, because you can get into a space where your sex drive becomes one of those things where it can become a focal point if you're not careful in
Oh,
a
definitely.
relationship or connection. And I'm not saying that to tell anybody to what's the word I'm looking for, to restrict themselves from pleasure. I'm just
Hmm.
saying, understand that it's more to your body than just your sex drive, and understand the changes that are happening are for a reason, because there is a thing where your sex drive goes up after 30. So
It truly does, and it's. I will say this also. Going back to your body gives you cues. Not even just with, you don't have to always answer
mhm.
when you're aroused. I noticed that, like for instance, and this is going back to my single time. Um, I would feel aroused, but I wouldn't be so. My body would show me that I don't want him. I'm not aroused, but my body would tell me, like, no, baby, you don't want him.
Oh,
What the
I'm
other one?
dripping.
Call the other one.
Got
Yeah,
you.
call the other one. Call the other one. So I started to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Like, your body will reject a man. Like, bruh, like, no, no. Even though I'm turned on, I want him. No, no, we
Right.
don't want him, love. So I had to have that connection, that talk with this.
Mhm.
So like that's something I definitely that definitely changed.
Right. As far
Very
as sex goes, though, the quality of sex has definitely improved. Thank God. I didn't realize how bad the quality of sex I was having until I got good sex. Like, and that didn't come until close to my 30s. It really didn't happen until like 28, 29.
I'm sorry.
And it was partly my fault. You know, we get into this, oh, we think we gotta look cute during sex. We think we gotta do certain stuff. And you really restrict yourself from expressing in an act that's supposed to be all about pleasure.
Mhm.
And not all about pleasure, but you know, it's pleasurable, and you're restricting
Mhm.
yourself because you think that you have to live up to these expectations on how you look, how you smell, how you do this, how you moan, how you sound, and all this stuff. And it's just like I got to a point where I wasn't even orgasming because I'm so far in my head. But the older I got and the more I understood my body and the
Mhm.
more other men understood my body, which was important
Mhm.
because they're maturing too, right? So they're getting that sex is not just about you. It's about the both people, and it's about pleasing each other.
Mhm.
So I went from, you know, minute men to, you know, men who can do something.
Sometimes the minute men just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, you're right. It still pops up in the 30s. I wouldn't know anymore, but
Yeah, you know anymore. But them the minute mans and them smaller Joes,
oh
this you
no.
start to appreciate those small Joes though, and
Yo, you do. You do. I had
you start
one
to
to show me up, and I was just like, well, okay, sir.
yeah, you're like, all right, look at you, sir, coming to the ballpark to play. All right.
Keisha,
What
go ahead
about
and
you,
hop
Keisha?
in. Look, you need to
Okay.
be blushing over there.
um, it's changed over time. Before younger, it was just like just have fun, didn't care. But as you got
Hmm.
older, um, start become more intimate. Once you become intimate with that person, it's better.
Yeah.
It makes it worth the while, you know. Instead of just going there having fun, okay, now you can go. But now when you become more into with one person, being one, it becomes more intimate. And then, you know, it starts enjoyable.
Yeah, because I definitely had earlier in my 20s where, you know, you feel like you in love and you so in love with a person, and it's you think it's great. It is great on the, you know, for what it is at that age. But
Blurry.
now
Sit
the
down.
intimacy is different because you know you have a better understanding of yourself and what you need. And when that person provides it to you, for
Mhm.
you to have that the act of making love or having sex or wherever you want to call it, doing the horizontal dance, whenever you do it, it's just deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
It is.
better because you know that you are being fulfilled on not only that level, but so many other levels.
Other
Everything else is
levels.
taken care
Mhm.
of. So I can just relax and allow you to, you know, fulfill this need that my body has.
It's a different type of conversation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're older and you know your body a little bit more, because I think, in and I can only speak for me, but I think I can say this for all of us that we were kind of just having sex in
Oh,
our
yeah.
20s. We were just, it was very basic because we were just having sex.
No conversation about what I want, what I
Wanted
need, what you're doing
exactly.
wrong.
Now you kind of have an idea of what you like, how you like to be touched, and you can have that conversation with that individual, and that individual now, you know, if you're meeting someone at your, at your age,
Level.
or
Yeah.
yeah, maturity wise, um they're going to ask those questions. They're not just diving in. They're looking into seeing what pleasures you, and vice versa. You're going to look at what pleasures them, and that's going to help pleasure you as well. So that communication base is totally different as well. Whereas I was just like, drop and draws, honey.
Right.
Now it's like, okay, a little foreplay, a little conversation,
Mm-hmm.
a little something beforehand. So yeah.
Yeah. Definitely the conversation and communication. I know for me, I can sometimes come across as like intense with my approach because I'm asking, you know, and I can choose how I ask, how soft or how blunt, but I'm having the conversation. So it's just like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't working for me, or are you good because you ain't did this in a while, or you tired? I might even ask that in the middle. You good? Yeah, that stroke got a little weak. We talking. You know what I'm saying? Because now those pretenses have worn off, and I know that it's okay to ask for what I want and to
Mm-hmm.
require the things that I want. And it's okay for that person to also place that on me as well, because if we're going to be doing this, we're doing this. Like, we're going to go
Mm-hmm.
all in. There's no need for us to, you know, if we need to
And
work on something, right? If we need to work on something, let's work on it. And if it's good, I'm gonna tell you it's great. You know?
Yes, and that, woo, I had to get to that point where I was honest, because in just having sex, it could have been like bad, but he thought he did his thing. I'm like, no, you didn't. So now I'm at an age now where, matter of fact, there was a guy I was dating on and off for years. Like, my oldest is about to be 12 next
Mm-hmm.
week. Um, Even like he's been around before I even had her, on and off. So
Dang.
like, yeah, like it's just, I don't know why we never just got it together, but we were just like, and we didn't even have sex for like the first couple of years. But
Mm-hmm.
when we did, it was just like really basic, and it was like beginning stages of me having sex. Like, I didn't have a lot of partners or anything like
Right.
that, so I didn't really know what I liked
Right.
until I started learning myself. And then, eventually one day I was just like,
It's like,
no, no, I'm not doing it. And he was like, but I'm comfortable. I don't care what you're comfortable with.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
I don't like it. He was like, well, what do you don't like? And I gave him a list of things that I did not like about it. It was a long list. And he was like, no other woman. I said, but I'm not every woman you sleep with. And that's
And that's the
part
problem.
that you need to figure out, that
You have to
I'm me.
tailor it for me. You
Yeah.
have to tailor it.
So if you are not willing to fix that, then I'm not sleeping with you. Like, it's not enjoyable for me. And if it's not enjoyable for me, what did I look like laying on my back for you? And he
Right.
was like, and he still to this day tries. And it's been, I want to say it's been like 5 years now.
Wow.
And like, I refuse. Like, it's just, nah, I can't no more, son.
And
That's
you messed
horrible.
up. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I had to tell another guy, like, nah, it wasn't good. He was like, I ain't never heard that before. It doesn't
chat,
matter what
because
you heard,
we be
love.
out here
I'm honest.
faking, and I'll even call myself out. And Lord, he gonna be mad if he listens to this, but he be all right. So I got called out for faking. I only did it like one time, but I'm very convinced that, and I did it because I knew I was in my head, and that the person was, doing everything right, but it was me. And
Hmm.
so, I try to help the process. This is so bad. I try to help the process. Do y'all know he called me out? That's how well this person knows my body. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when I say it matters that men can read your body, it matters. But on
Hmm.
the flip side of
It was
that,
embarrassing
oh my God, I was mortified. I was just like,
because
how
it
did
caught you
you
out of
know?
nowhere. He was like, "Why are you yelling like that? Hush."
He didn't even do that. He waited, and he was just like, after, everything was finished, he was just like, you fake. And I was just like, what? What do you mean? No, I didn't. I'm still trying to lie. But it's important for us to be honest, even when it's uncomfortable. And even when, you feel like, because another part of it, I was like, I didn't want you to be hard on yourself, because I knew it was me. It wasn't you. Um, but just continuously have the conversation, because I'm good at having the initial conversation. But sometimes when it gets, a little bit more in depth, I start falling off a little bit, because, you might not have the energy for the conversation, or you feel like the person might be a little bit sensitive to it, or you might be just uncomfortable for whatever reason. So, yeah, that
Question
was
for
a new.
Keshia. I have a question for you, because you're engaged to be married. And the reason why I'm asking is I'm single. Is there an appropriate amount of time that, and I know it can be different for everyone, but and I know if this is too personal, tell me, because I have a tendency to be too personal and have no filter. Um, as far as sex,
hmm
is there a certain amount of time a week that you try to have sex to keep
no,
that intimacy?
no. because if we just like when we spend that time to when we feel it, we feel that energy from each other, we
Mhm.
engage. And it's not, it don't have to be every day, because
Mhm.
sex is not my main thing in my relationship. It's not my main. It helps it, yes, it do, but you don't want to get caught up in just having sex every day, 2, 3 times a day, and you forget the problems that you do have going on.
Yeah.
So we
Mhm.
choose not to let sex overcrowd our mind,
Mhm.
so we can make sure we are focused on our relationship while we do love each other. Because at some point, we may not be able to have sex.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
uh, are we gonna fall apart because we can't
Mhm.
have sex? So
Is that a conversation like the two of you sat down and had about sex, like having relations?
yes, cause like I said, with that first year, we went through a little sickness thing, and it's like he had to take care of himself because we were sick. So
Right.
you know, you
Okay.
had to have that. They say going through stuff your
It forces
first
you.
year or when you first dating, it lets you know how you really feel about that person.
Hmm.
Okay.
And that was one thing when you go through your sickness, being sick, you couldn't. So it's like now we have no other choice but look at other things while we love each other.
Right.
Okay.
Shoot, I even have that conversation.
Yeah, I was
'Cause
about to ask you next.
oh yeah, I do. I do. Come on now. I have a conversation. I think I just had it a couple of days ago. I was like, yeah, I could I'm aroused every day. At some point
Mhm.
in every day
Mm-hmm.
I'm aroused. So and because I'm, in love with the person, I can have sex every day.
Yeah.
Do I want to have sex every day? No. Sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes even though like you said, my body might be aroused, my mind is off. Okay. It's shut down. Sometimes I really just want us to sit and watch a movie
Or
and
just or just
or just
cook together, do something.
Yeah.
cook together, and that's another level. It's so much more intimacy than just
Mhm.
having sex. And I like the feeling of building it up for a couple of days
And
Mhm.
then just go
and
at
then
it.
going in
Just
it,
going at
Yeah.
it.
because
Yeah.
what I know is like, having days where you do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
It gets
It's not like
boring.
you.
It gets
It's not like
boring,
it's
get
boring,
repetitive.
but
Like,
it's just like
It gets boring. Because you're not being able to miss it.
you're not
right.
being able to miss it, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. I like being able to miss that person's touch and that person's
Mhm.
intimacy and that person's closeness in that way. And because I know I've had a problem before with equating closeness and intimacy through sex, I don't
Mhm.
want to overindulge myself so much where I'm doing it every day. Now, if a couple of days pass and I'm just like, all right now.
But going to that, I used to lead with sex as well,
Mm,
and it used to be so like I didn't know any other way, and an it took a man coming into my life and slowing that down and teaching me that even though we're aroused and we want to, let's redirect that energy into something else.
all right.
Let's sit and read a book together, and I love that.
Yeah.
I
Or
love that.
paint
Like,
together.
yeah, and he was actually the first guy that sit down and read a book with me, or
Hmm.
let's watch a movie and put that energy into laughing and talking about the movie. Like we can put that into an experience together, whereas we're still sharing that time together. We're still experiencing that time. We're still having a connection,
Hmm.
even a physical connection, because we're touching each other. We're
Right.
laughing with each other. We're having that experience, but it doesn't have to be sex.
Sex. Right.
And that taught me a lot. That's why I asked her that question, because I think I read something about married couples is good to have sex at least 3 times a week. However, any married couple I know, it's just whenever.
Especially when you invite kids into the equation now. You don't. I think with any kind of relationship, especially like learning that I'm merging routines and stuff and
Mhm.
households and stuff like that. I'm learning like, yo, sometimes stuff takes precedence over what you immediately want, and you have
Mhm.
to take care of the other parts of the relationship, like Keshia was saying. and put some of that stuff on the back burner. That don't mean keep putting it on the back burner. That don't mean keep, going to sleep, at night and y'all haven't touched each other in weeks. Cause I don't.
I just gonna be like, okay, what's your problem?
My love language is touch anyway. So if you don't touch me, we have a problem.
Look, that's not even my top one.
I just found out that's my top one, and I'm not even affectionate.
Look, my partner was like, as much as you wanted, I thought physical touch was your top one. I was like, no, but it is important. But I had to learn, like, so in previous experiences, I had a really bad experience with someone who I was in love with. They didn't want sex nearly as much as I wanted it. And so I stopped feeling desired and I stopped feeling wanted by the person. And so I have to learn, like, whenever, the person might be tired or whatever, whenever it's a no, or it's like, oh, not right now, or, it's okay. And I don't have to feel rejected. So that's something I'm working on, something I'm still learning too, because you have to understand that all these culminations of our experiences we're carrying over into, these new experiences, and that it shapes the way that we look at sex, love, dating, and all of it.
Exactly. I fell into that as well, and I fell into that with him as well, because I hate having to come on to you, but I would.
Yeah, I initiate all the time.
Yeah, and it's like, he was like, you know what? And that's when I found out what my love language was. Like, we went and did a whole quiz on the show, and when I had a talk with him, he was like, yeah, I can tell, like, your love language, your top love language is physical touch. He was like, you need to be touched and feel some type of affection,
yeah.
And he was like, and you lead with sex, because that's the only way you know how to show me affection. He was like, no, I'm going to teach you how to show me affection other than trying to have sex with me. So that's when we would go into cooking together, watching a movie together, laughing together, actually interacting, not just sitting still and watching it, like actually physically sitting there talking communicating
to each other,
yeah. He was like, this is the intimacy that that you really need. You don't need me on top of you.
Right. What works against you though? When you have that intimacy and it's so beautiful that it just makes you hornier.
It really does. It's like, so after this, are we
about to make this happen?
It's not gonna happen? Okay. But he was like, if it happens, it happens. But let's not go with the idea of, because you want my touch, because you want my attention,
that's the only way that you can get
yeah. Like, no, you always have my attention. I always want you. You're beautiful. But sometimes I'll be tired. And he said it just like that. Sometimes I'll be tired.
And sometimes I'll be tired too. And it's just like, girl, you too tired to even try to, rub on this man. Go to sleep. It's okay. It's always tomorrow.
Because I will lay there. Okay, you done? Okay, I just want his phone.
Look, my favorite one is we can just be lazy. We can do lazy. Let me start giving my secrets away. All right.
Yeah, because he's gonna listen to it.
Look, I'm gonna get in trouble. Anyway, did you explore yourself sexually in your 20s, and are you doing so in your 30s? So that might be solo, dolo, or Keshia, you ain't in this equation. I guess I ain't in this equation either. So really neat. Have you been exploring with other people in your 30s?
Hey, yeah, other people. Okay, yeah. Yes. Definitely. Not this year, but previously, yeah.
Were you exploring yourself in those ways in your 20s?
I'm sorry. You said myself, or as far as other people, bringing other people in?
Both.
Okay. So exploring myself, yes. I started doing that. Once again, a guy I was dating taught me that. I would refuse to touch myself. I thought I was nasty. I was taught that was nasty.
Oh, that's religion. No,
yeah, I was taught, and it wasn't even religion based. Like, it was just my mom, like, oh, that's nasty. Classy girls don't do stuff like that.
Child. My vibrator got
I
rhinestones on it. What you talking about? I'm classy.
I got to him and he opened me up to a whole
Open you
new
up,
world.
huh?
I was like, so this, and that's when I started to get into pleasuring myself, what I like, what I didn't like, and that's when I started liking lingerie as well. Like, oh, I like to feel sexy.
Right.
I like this feeling. But yeah, explore with different toys. I showed you one of my toys, I think.
You did. I just purchased my first vibrator this last year. Now I don't really do much with them because I'm just like, right now nothing beats the real thing. But they're
Girl,
cool, and
I
I can
love
see
them.
myself. I mean, but I'm always a manual type of girl when it comes to self pleasuring. You
I'm
know,
telling
so
you, I used to be as well. Like that's how I started. But once, and even with the toys, I'm still certain things I still won't touch, or
try.
it's just not my thing,
Mm-hmm.
or not my thing yet. Because I never say no to anything because I always say I'll try everything at least once.
No.
I'll try
Mm-mm.
everything at least once.
I
If
ain't
I
gonna knock
don't
nobody's
like
flavor,
it,
but that ain't the taste I'm trying to have.
you know what I mean? Like certain things are just like off limits to me. Like
Yeah,
I just can't. But I don't say I can't. I'm not
I'm
going
not
to
gonna do it
do
because your
certain
mind might
things.
change. Yeah.
Yeah, my mind has changed for a lot of things. So even the amount of toys and positions and things that I do now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
very shocked at myself because 20-year-old me would never.
20-year old me was afraid to even just change positions and get on top. Like, girl, if you don't get in there,
Yeah.
get in there.
Now I am different when since I am single and I'm mingling now, so being
Mm-hmm.
out there and going into I might end up having sex with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, after a couple of dates, they don't get to see everything. I'm a certain way. I'm a certain way in a
Oh, so
relationship.
you don't bring out all the toys on the first
No,
try?
I don't bring out no toys. I don't even bring out a whole bunch of moves at the
Look, you get
beginning.
3 preset moves with me, okay?
That's it.
And then you gotta unlock the rest of them like a video
Yeah.
game.
You got to get to these different levels.
Oh
And it's
my
all into
goodness.
because I have to make sure this individual, because like what I also learned is some men are very basic,
Yes,
and
and it's important, and I think I talked about this on my sex is not a therapist episode. Like to have a partner who is now open and exploring with me. So like we
hmm
some of the stuff we're trying together for the first time, and I love that because it's an honest place to start from,
hmm
and it's no pressure on either one of us. If we don't like it, we don't like it. You know what I'm saying? If I don't like something, I'd be like, you know what, I don't care for that. And some stuff it's just like I had to, let the person know it's like we're not that boring yet where we have to do this stuff. Maybe, and I'm not saying that people have to wait until you get boring to introduce different things, but I'm just like it's good enough right now.
you don't have to just throw everything new out there every week. Like, okay, this
Yeah.
week we're gonna try. No, I think until you get to a point where you're like, hey, let's try something new.
Yeah.
That's when you would introduce something else to your sex life as a couple. But I pay attention to certain things. When I do have casual sex, because I will have casual sex. My
Mhm.
co-hosts frown upon that very
Child, I'm
much.
pretty sure they do, as if they have never had it. Please.
I'm a woman, and they could just like, no, you can't. But when it comes to casual sex, I'm mindful of what I do with an individual, and what an individual does to me.
Right.
Because now I have the question of, you do this to everybody? Everybody
And
gets treatment? Ew, you're nasty. No,
no,
I can't have
I
sex
don't
with
do
you.
that so much because when I'm in
Certain
the
things.
experience, well, I've had somebody when I was on my own, casual journey where they pulled out they trick bagged the first round actually, and I was just like it crossed
Whoa.
my mind for a second, but then I was just like I enjoyed myself. I know the person was being safe. I know I was being safe. There's really no reason for me to think about their past because I'm not somebody who tries to think about any kind of past escapades that the person may have, because I don't want to ruin my experience thinking about who else you was doing all that to, because it's really none of my business. But Keshia, I'm sorry, Keshia. How about you? Like, did you explore yourself sexually in your 20s, and like, did you do a little bit in your 30s before you got tied down?
So in the 20s, no, because um, it was frowned upon. Like Neat said, my mom was like, "You ain't supposed to do that," and so it made me scared and shamed to even go into a store to buy sexual toys. And
Mm,
even that I brought one younger, I still didn't use it because I still felt ashamed. But and then like the partners I did have, I was all about having fun, so I'm gonna have my fun.
right.
But now it's like, if that's what you want to do, Keisha, go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want to try this with him, try it. Um, I couldn't worry about so much about my parents' life because
Yeah.
they live theirs and I got to live mine. So
Mhm.
it's like, and what I do is my business. Back then, I felt like I had to I had to tell them everything, or I had to, if they come to my apartment, like, oh, I need to put that box away because I don't want them to see that, or I don't want them to see who somebody been over here last night. But now it's like, all right, this is my house. I pay the bills. If you don't like it, going back home.
All right, tell my mom, you come over here, you're gonna see that pole in the bedroom.
Right,
Now
you're
you
gonna
can make
see
your own
this.
assumptions about what goes on in here.
Right. So I think it's really about being comfortable with yourself.
Mhm.
You
Nick, why you
found
made
that.
that face? So sorry.
Oh, look, Jenna already knows I have a bag, and I have a few bags, and she be like, "Oh, your bag is okay."
Right.
I don't hide anything from her because at the end of the day, I'm a grown ass woman,
Wrong woman.
and
Right.
I know certain things I learned from going through my mother's stuff.
Okay, you
So,
did some of this stuff. Stop
so
acting
say,
like that.
yeah. So like, once I learned that that's how they're plundering. Oh, okay. So this is
Do
what
you
we do.
regret not exploring as much in your 20s, Keisha?
Yeah. Yes. Really, like we talked earlier about how long. I think Nick asked the question how long it has been. My last real relationship was ended in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So from 2008 till 2019,
Mm-hmm.
having fun, dating here and there. Nothing really. I taught that I wanted, but I never took. You know how Kantoinette, you talked about just not being honest with yourself, just taking whatever you could get from a guy,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing who he was. That's what I was doing for a while. Then it was like you sit down and you have that self talk and like, okay, I don't like these feelings once this person decides we're gonna split because I end up catching feelings. So
Right.
it's
So
like
the
now it's
casual.
time. Yeah, the casual set start hurting. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I need to settle down, take care of myself, focus on me
Right.
and what I really want.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things I learned in my 20s with sex is like, um, I did at some point learn how to turn off my emotions with it, but it's also very hard for me to do so, and I don't want to do it because I am an emotionally sexual person, and that's okay. We are taught a lot, in this day and age of feminism as women to not be emotional when we have sex, to remove it as much as men. And I have no problem with a woman who can do that and who is flourishing in that lane. That's just not the lane that is honest to how I operate. And for me, it's been one of those things where for a long time in my 20s, wanted more, but only just, allow sex to be the vehicle on trying to get more, while simultaneously, the person is just getting what they can get because it's still casual for them. And I'm just sitting there like, I love you. Like,
When we get
so,
married.
right.
Right. I want to spend the rest of life
We
with
get
you.
along so well, and meanwhile you really don't, you're not compatible with the person, you really don't get
Mhm.
along with them because y'all don't really spend a lot of time outside your bed.
Mhm.
And understanding that it was okay for me to speak up and be like, I need more, I
Mhm.
want more, I deserve more, I'm going after more, and I'm not removing sex to try to find it. I can
Mm-hmm.
have, casual sex and enjoy that lane when it's time for me to enjoy that lane. And I can cut it off and decide, no, you have to pay for this access.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I
what you
agree.
had, Neat? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, just adding to what you said, when it came to, because I wasn't raising my hand as I went to speak. I was raising my hand like, yeah, I can do that. Because I am the person that I do cut off my emotions because
Hmm.
I can get overly. I'm a Cancer. I get overly emotional. I'm very emotional. So that's why I only have a certain type of sex with you
Hmm.
because my emotions are in my sex. Like I'm very emotional about what I do. Like my goal is to make sure you climax. Like
Right.
that's my goal. So I'm emotional with everything I do in my touch and the way I talk to you and everything. So
Hmm.
therefore, like I can't do that with everyone because I'm not looking for that same connection in everyone.
Right.
So when and it's not even that it's basic, but I can't say that is basic, but I don't bring out all the works. So if I'm just like I've had a sneaky link before, and it would go so much as I call you at 3 or I call you at 12. I
Hmm.
go, I do my business, and then I leave. And I
There's
was
no
talking to
lingering.
no lingering because there's no time for a conversation. Because once you start having small talk, small conversations,
Hmm.
that's when things start to change. And I started to notice that with him when it started to change that because he caught feelings.
Mm.
And the conversation would go into like, why do you only come over here at 12? Well, I thought that was
Because
a
you already know what this
conversation,
is.
but if you want me to come over earlier, yeah, let's watch a movie. Okay, let's watch a movie. So
Quiet
now
now.
we're doing certain, and I was okay with it because I had nothing to do. Okay,
Hmm.
I knew what the end result was going to be. But now we're watching a movie and we're doing this. Now the conversations are starting, and now I'm getting to know you a little bit more. Oh, really? You like that?
And I don't
Okay.
like you.
No, like I'm not trying to look at you in that way. I've already put in my head that you're a good time, not a long time.
Hmm.
So
And now
you're
you
trying.
done made it a short time because I don't like you.
Yeah, and not even that I didn't like him. It's just that I knew I couldn't have anything serious with him.
Right.
So he was like, well, I feel like you need to just kind of slow down and really get to know someone. And he started to try to degrade me of what I was doing with him to make himself feel better for catching feelings. So I
Mm.
was like, oh, okay. You want to get cut off? Say less.
Right.
So like after that, like I think I ended up ghosting him, and he came back like,
Oh, they
uh,
always come back. They
yeah,
always.
like where have you been, stranger? No,
No, ain't no big head, no stranger. Gone.
you
Gone
were
get.
you were in your emotions, you were in your feelings, and you started to project those on me and get mad at me
Right.
because I wasn't feeling the same way.
Right.
But he was like, well, we're all human. We're going to catch feelings. Yeah. I said, and it's not that I didn't have feelings for him. I
But it
just
just
knew where
wasn't
to
on the
place
same.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew where
And
to
it
place
was.
those feelings.
And it was a different. I mean, and like you said, feelings and compatibility are two different things. I can have
Mm-hmm.
feelings for you, and we might not be compatible. Or,
At all.
I was someone who was able. I can lay up on you on the couch, and we can chill and everything, and you give me amazing sex. But because I know we're not compatible outside of this lane, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
catching feelings for you. I don't feel nothing. And so I'm okay
It's
with just
easy.
being, what it is. But when people get greedy sometimes, they want more and more and more of you. And I'm just like, okay, but we don't work in that way. But you know what? I'm going to transition into the dating and aging because I'm starting to realize we have been talking for a while, so this is probably going to be a two-part episode. I'm going to break up the audio and make it a two-part for the listeners. Um, what are 3 dating rules that you live by now versus what you lived by in your early 20s? Because I know, Nick, you said you don't have any expectations. So,
Yeah. No.
Keshia, we'll go with you first. What were your 3 dating rules when you first met your soon-to-be hubby?
Just had to throw that out there. Well, my 3 rules was, of course, stability. You got to be able to provide and
Hmm.
know how to communicate, and don't always think you're right. because we
Right.
sometimes we got to see eye to eye, different perspective, but stability, communication, and the will, and to still have fun.
Yeah.
Let's not make it every day. Get up, go to work, come home. If we do that Monday through Friday, then the weekends we need to take time for ourselves. We need to, and we'll go, like, we may just go riding around to like the lake or to a park or just go walking.
Hmm.
Don't make Still keep that fun, spontaneous within that relationship in the midst of working and taking care of the household. Like I say, sometimes he'll get off early, so when I come home, I already got dinner ready, and I was like, "Oh, cool. Yes, I ain't got to cook."
Okay.
Just keeping spontaneous communication, and
I like
and
that.
yeah, those my now. In the 20s, I really didn't have any. I ain't really date much. Just have fun and get on about your business, and that's it.
That was
But as
it.
I got older to the 30s, it's all right, Keshia. It's time to slow down. You always wanted to be married. You want kids. I don't want out a lot. I still want to be able to experience it. So you got to slow down and take care of yourself.
Got it. I like that. Nique.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got to me so fast. Um, in my 20s, the rules that I went by, I think I had a 90-day rule when I was in my 20s.
Hmm.
Funny thing, very funny. Um, wow, I
Oh,
actually
wow.
remember that. Yeah, in my 20s, I had the 90-day rule.
That's pretty cool. And how has that changed now in the 30s?
Baby. But it combined with all my other rules as well. When I was in my 20s, I was looking for a man to take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted someone that was serious, someone that was established. So my rules to that was, okay, no sex for at least 3 months, 3 or 4 months. Get to know me, love. You better get to know me, or um,
I'm starting to realize
um,
I was a little hot in the tail.
and this is a crazy rule that has severely changed. I didn't mean to hit my desk. I used to only do dates at the house.
Okay.
Only do dates at the house. So that
So
was a
y'all
struggle.
Netflixing and chilling
Yeah,
right out the bat.
in my 20s, not so much as far as Netflix, because Netflix
It
was a
wasn't now. I know. I gotta
we were still,
DVD and chill.
it was still a movie gallery,
Oh, not the movie
Blockbuster.
gallery.
Yeah, I'm really, God, I am old.
I'm
Um,
with you. Don't feel bad. Blockbuster.
yeah.
I remember
So,
Blockbuster, believe it or not, and movie gallery. We had one.
so that was a part of it. Like, I didn't want to be seen with someone, so early in the situation. So I would always make the first couple of dates
Mm-hmm.
in the house. Like, no, we can order out, or you can cook, or I can cook with you.
Oh, that's
Um,
different. You
yeah,
ain't coming to
but
my house until like I've literally dated men, and we can have the little sweet little dates where we're outside in the parking lot in the car. I've
mm,
done that and have the best conversations, have the music playing, and we can do
mm.
that for 3 or 4 days because you're not coming up until I feel comfortable with you. I don't care.
But see, that was a part of my another rule. Like, I would talk to you for a long time
Hmm.
um, before I even, like, I would fall in love with you.
Right.
Talking to you, falling in love with your voice before I even see your face. And I used to do blind dates as well. Like, my
Oh,
friends would hook
wow.
me up with, yeah, I was really experienced out here in the street.
I mean, but that's a good thing you had those different experiences. I've never done
Oh
a
yeah.
blind date. I've never, no, I can't. I tried online dating, but only to a certain extent. Like I met like 2 or 3 people on it, and then I got off. I got
Girl.
That's
off of
how.
it.
Well, that's how I met.
You met your baby. Yeah, so that'll be the next question we transition into. Like, so what online dating sites would you like? Have you experienced, and would you recommend for somebody who's like dating?
I can't recommend any. Oh well, hold on. Let me say what has changed for my 30s.
Got you.
I no longer have that 90-day rule. If whenever I feel like the time is right and the communication is there and the connection is there, then boom, we can fly off the chair, off the dresser, whatever.
Okay, not doing a backflip on it.
Yeah, dive all in it. But and then as far as like with dates, with conversation and all of that at the beginning, I like to, like I said, get my dates out the way. I don't have any expectations at the beginning until after that first date. Mm-hmm. That's when my expectations, because you have now provided me with expectations for you. You open the door for me. You pay for the meal. You were very respectful. Mm-hmm. You came, very nice, and now I have these expectations of you now. Yeah. So that has changed in my 30s. Now, as far as online dating, I no longer online date like that, even though like my last situation. Okay. We ended up meeting on social media as far as like Snapchat or Facebook. Well, we met on Snapchat. I think he found me on Facebook, but we officially like seen each other, started communicating through Snapchat. But we really didn't get serious until we seen each other in public. And he was like, "Oh, okay, so this is how you really look."
Yeah, you talk cute in person, all right.
And it's so crazy because we had sex that first night.
Well, sometimes it happens, and
that's what I said. Sometimes it happened. It was like, okay, like we really did like each other and connect, and it lasted almost 2 years. So it was a beautiful thing. But as far as with online dating, I haven't online dated, and I feel so embarrassed to say this, since Yahoo Personals.
Yahoo Personals? So you haven't tried Tinder, Bumble,
no,
what is
ma'am.
it? Two fish or something?
Oh, the fish in the bowl, something like that.
It's some Christian dating site, I think. They said it'd be freaky up there too. eHarmony.
I did try eHarmony. It was a few out there. Black People Meet. I have tried that.
That commercial or the little ad for it always makes me laugh, because I'd be like,
ain't nothing like that up there. Black Planet.
Black Planet went on a dating site, was it?
They had chats.
Okay, I remember they had chats now. My sister used to be in the chat.
Yeah, the the BT chat rooms. Baby, I was all in it. I'm showing my age because and I actually found someone and dated someone for we dated for 2 years. And now he's one of my bestest friends. He's my oldest godfather, best friend.
Well, I'll have y'all know I had a very hot and heavy romance on MySpace back in my day. And it only lasted a week. But if he's listening to this episode, come find me.
No, don't find her. Don't find her. Don't come find her.
But Keshia, you said that you and hubby, you met through Tinder, or was it Tinder?
Yes, it was Tinder. Yeah, it was Tinder.
Okay.
It wasn't right off the it wasn't right off the bat. You set your profile up so you get the option to swipe right, left, according to what you like. And then if you and that person like each other, then you can start a chat within Tinder. So have your conversation through Tinder, and then after that, I chose to give my number to him. It took some months. I think I started in November, December of 2018, and around February, March, we actually hooked up. But we talked back to the 90-day rule. We did the 90-day rule.
Oh, I do remember
March. Yeah, it's March and April was talking. It was every night on the phone in the morning. We actually met up in person in May, and then just started dating since then.
I just realized. So mine started off with knocking the ankles loose.
Wait a minute.
I mean, because
Wow.
because you have so many different, belief systems about, the 90-day rule, and then, whether, like you said, need to give it up or whatever. But it's really just what works and what meshes and what,
Yeah.
culminates as a part of the two people's personalities and their connection. And mine started off with sex.
Yeah,
Really
mine did
amazing
too.
sex. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I didn't start like that, but as far as like the getting past a certain phase of the
Hmm.
connection happened, it started, sex was the catalyst, I will say, for us to have a deeper connection.
Yeah. With me and that individual, he's been trying. He was trying for some years.
Mm.
Let's see, it's been like he was trying for like 3 years strong,
Oh, Nick,
and
why
I
you
was
got a
just
man
like,
waiting?
I was just ignoring him, like, he kind of
You
young.
just had him sitting in DMs.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would talk to him, but it was just like nothing could. And we was even texting at one point, and I was just like, nothing is gonna come of this, love, because you're young. Like you're really. I'm grown. I'm grown. Like, do you realize when I was at prom, you were in bed.
Listen,
You had
I
bedtime.
just had a 20. I think I had started dealing with him when he was like 21 or something. Before, probably like a year or so ago. Well, I was dealing with, and I was like, "You young, but we can rock with it." I mean, we weren't in a relationship now,
Yeah,
but
but
had to
see,
teach him some things, Miss Robinson style.
but we ended up talking just like casually here and there,
Mm.
and I went out, and the crazy part about it was I went out with a different crew of people that
Mm-hmm.
evening. My friends, actually, I went out with one of my friends' friends, which is something I don't usually do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
those are your friends, not mine. But the girl, she really wanted to go to that particular bar, and she was like, "Well, Nick, would you come with me?" And I was like, "All right, I'll come." So I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll come with you, so that way you're not going somewhere by yourself." We get there, we drink, we having a good time, and me and him lock eyes, and we knew who each other were, like right then and
Right.
there. And liquor being in our system, things
Not
happened.
the liquor. Don't blame it on the liquor. Blame it on the
Things
alcohol.
things happened, and the next day I was like, I'm so sorry, that doesn't usually happen, that has never happened to me before. I've
Just learn to
never had
stop
a one.
saying that. You're
I've
lying.
never, because I was so ashamed, because that's never happened. Like, I've never had,
Got
he's
you.
my
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
first one night stand like that. So I was like, listen, like, I don't want you to think I'm that type of female. I don't want you to try to come at me like that again and think, you're just gonna be able to have me like that. He was like, nah, like, I really want you. I have been trying this long.
Right. For a
And
reason, right.
yep, and I say the next weekend we went on our first date.
Sometimes it happens. It might seem a little messy on the surface, but if it's a real connection, then I mean, you should be able to read yourself and the room well enough to know
Hmm.
whether it's something that is just solely just a sexual, connection that you have with this person, or something else. So I'll get to the last couple of questions and we can get out of here. How does the interaction and maturity and quality of men in your age group compare to those who were in your age group at 20? Is it better? Because
When they
sometimes
wasn't
I,
serious about nothing.
huh?
In the 20 age, it was nothing. They wasn't serious about nothing. They just wanted to have fun, come in, get what they want to go. But now in the 30s, you meet somebody more in my age bracket. They're more laid back, want to be stable, actually grown for a family.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate because
The
I
pool
feel
is
like it
small.
it get worse at
It
30.
does.
I feel like they try
For
to hold on
me.
to their youth so much that they get worse a little bit. So it's just like in the 20s you can expect immaturity on some level. You can expect, sometimes bad sex. You can expect them
Hmm.
to be financially unstable and all this type of stuff because everybody's trying to get their life together in their 20s. But for the most part, I've been experiencing older men or men close to my age pretty much my whole dating experience. And what I see, or even when I look at other men and I have conversations with them and they're way older, I
Hmm.
see that your mentality is a lot worse then you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because it's just like the maturity for me is just not there. And it's like they're trying to hold on to these images or of who they were in their 20s while simultaneously holding on to outdated dating standards and expectations and not changing with the times. It's just a weird combination of nonsense.
But I've seen some of them like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I I can say the same as I got older because when I was younger, I was approached. Well, I'll make this clear. I have been in not a lot of relationships, but I've been in long-term relationships.
Mhm.
So a lot of my single time, like my longest time being single, was maybe a year and a half between relationships. But pretty much like since I have a high school sweetheart that I dated from ninth grade to my second year in college.
Mhm.
The same individual. And like we were supposed to have kids, we were supposed to get married, and things just didn't work out as such because you meet different people in college, you have different
Didn't what is supposed
experiences,
to happen.
things happen, and yeah, life happens. And just like other individuals I wanted to date that we just kind of couldn't make it there. But as far as like the maturity level, when I got to my 30s, even when I got older, like in my late 20s, I figured I would find some more responsible, more stable men because I figured, I'm in a better financial situation. I'm not
Mhm.
great, but I'm in a better financial situation, and I kind of looked at men as, okay, well, you're a provider, you're a lead, that's what I want. So, you should. Until I figured out, oh, y'all some bums. Why do I where are the high class, high end men here? And then even those that can financially take care of you or all of that, they have this image that they like to uphold, and
Mhm.
it just becomes like even like one of my ex that me and him are like really, and people are shocked because he really hurt me. But he taught me a lot about relationships, and I always tell him that. But we're really close as friends now.
Mhm.
And one of the things that helped me move on from him, not just that we were friends before we started dating, was because he told me I'm never gonna be with just one woman ever in life, Janine,
Right.
ever. And he taught me to listen to what somebody is telling me, and he told me that consistently. Even though like he would change it, all of that, but he would consistently tell me like when we would fuss, look, I'm never going to be with just one woman. And I'm thinking
Wow.
like, you are in your 30s, and this is what you're telling me in your 30s. You're in your 30s, and we have a lot of conversations about how men think. And I always tell them like, what do you think about this situation? Or, we'll have a conversation about our relationships. And he'd be like, Janique, men our age don't do XYZ or are not going to do XYZ. And the maturity level is like, that's how y'all think?
Mhm.
He's like, we're simple.
For a lot of them. And
Yeah,
so,
but a
um,
lot.
I mean, and not to shit on men in general, but I do.
No,
It's
there's some
something I've
great ones out
seen.
there.
Right, it's something I've seen for a while where it's just like, all right, sometimes, the truth is in the pudding when they say that, sometimes men mature slower than women, and you grow and develop a lot slower than your female counterparts because I see it. um. There's so many questions left, but I'm asked one last one and then we're gonna get out of here. Um, what would you tell your 20-year-old self about sex, love, and dating?
I'll let Keshia go first.
Um, know yourself first before you just jump into anything. Take time for self.
Hmm.
Cause you and then even if you get in a relationship or think you want to be with somebody, be honest up front. Don't let don't put your blinders on. Keep your eyes open. And I like the idea Nique have about expectations. I'm going in thinking this is what I want or what it should be, but that man might have his own time schedule, timeline, what he or how he wants to treat a female. So definitely know yourself, love yourself first. Take your time and be truthful up front.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nique, what about you?
All right. When it comes to sex and love, be yourself. Learn to love yourself first. Put yourself first. Have fun. Enjoy it. Um, don't lock yourself down in every situation.
Mm-hmm.
That don't get too comfortable in every situation. Um, listen with your eyes open.
Yeah. For me, I would say first thing you should do is break free of these social conditioned expectations that have been placed on you. Because until you can do that, you won't know who you truly are underneath it. Until you
Mm-hmm.
do that, you won't know exactly what you want, what you need, because you're not exploring the proper way, right? You're exploring through the lens of what somebody tells you you're supposed to want and tells you what you need. But you have to break out of um, these things that tell you you're not supposed to be sexual. You have to break out of these things that tell you that when you're in a relationship with a man, you have to be submissive all the time. You have to break out of these ideas that tell you that whenever it comes to love, you're supposed to just give it all away and not keep any for yourself. So I would say break out of these mindsets and these social constructs that make you feel as though you're not supposed to stand up and say what you want in sex, stand up and say what you need in love, and stand up and say what kind of partner you deserve.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Mm.
Learn yourself.
Learn yourself. I think I'm gonna just post the rest of these questions because it's so good.
They
But
are
yeah, I'm just like,
the
dang,
myth of the drip. Post
girl,
30 true. Oh,
myth of
that
the
is
drip.
definitely.
Okay, one last one. How have you seen sex, love, and dating play out for women older than yourselves?
um, for me, it's kind of a mixture. Um, all my high school friends, well, I'll say this, my high school and college circle, because I have a high school and college circle, and I have my friends now that I've met, that I've been close to the past couple of years. Those those friends from college, all of them are married.
Mm.
All of them are married. We're all, the same age, and they're all married. And it's like it kind of made me want to. It kind of made put me in a place at one moment that I wanted to rush into finding somebody um, and settling down. When I got to the group of friends that I have now that I see almost every other day, is a mixture. Is a
Mm.
mixture of someone that was divorced, someone that was engaged, um, someone that had been with the same man for 16 years, were never married. So like it was different views, and it kind of gave me a different look at no one's journey is the same. Everyone experiences love differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that it doesn't matter how old you are. Um, don't put a number on when you fall in love. Do not put a number on when you should get married. Do not put a number on when you should have kids.
Yeah.
Like, just enjoy your life.
I think I've been pretty good at that so far because I've just decided I want some of those things. Keshia, I'll let you go and then I'll close it out.
Um, I agree with everything what Nique said. Like everything that you just laid out, I agree 100%.
Um, I think for me, seeing older women deal with sex, love, and dating, it's polarizing. You either have this section that is so married to these these ideas that we've been conditioned to think, that they're doing it to their detriment. So they're not having good sex. They don't know about their bodies and what they really deserve and want. Love is draining for them because they give it all away to their family, to their husbands, and they get very little back. And then the relationship dynamic is very skewed where, they've lost themselves in their marriage and their family, and they're okay with it because they don't know, haven't learned any better, and they think that's the way it's supposed to be. And then there's this other side of it where you have women who are rejecting that, who they've gotten that divorce, the kids are out of the house, they traveling, they said bump that, it's about me. They are retiring, they're starting to date, or have multiple boyfriends. These are the women that you see. They might be a sugar mama because she got it like that. She already got her house. She's already established. She got her car and everything, and she's enjoying her life. And so I see, both happening for women who are in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, going about and operating life. And then there's always, women who are doing both in some capacity, right? You have women who have healthy relationships and healthy marriages, and have the kids and everything else. So, yeah, hopefully I can be somewhere in the middle when I get that age. But Nique Crews of Relationship Status Podcast, it's been great talking to you.
Likewise, it's always a joy to come on Let's Build Futures.
Yes.
I always enjoy it.
Thank you. And Keshia.
Yes.
Where my invitation at?
It ain't set out yet. Still working. Come on, you already got me on a certain timeline. We're not on that week yet.
I know. I said I'm gonna write up them weeks too. We got the fitting coming up, so excited.
It's nice meeting you, Nique. And I
Likewise.
I do listen to Relationship Status.
Thank you.
One of the ones that I love was the one about oh shucks, negotiables and non-negotiables. I love that one. I had to play that on repeat. Like, yeah.
We need to bring that back. I might need to write up something, and we need to bring that back.
Yeah.
I enjoy Relationship Status. So
thank you.
Yeah, always good material. But go ahead and let them know where they can find you, Nique. And Keshia, if you want to plug your social media, which I know you probably don't want to do, but if you want to, you can always join in and plug it.
All right. Well, for me, you can find me on all social media at Nique Crews. That's it. Nique Crews, NIQUECREWS. You can find me everywhere: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. It's all Nique Crews. Send me letters if you would like to discuss. Hey, I do give advice on relationships. We speak your letter out on our show on Relationship Status. You can listen to Relationship Status on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere you can listen to your podcast for free.
Yeah. All right, Keshia.
Well, I'm on Instagram.
You forgot your tag. I look. See, as soon as I saw you looking down, I was like, she forgot her
I did. Because I don't get on my stuff that often. It's Siobhan_C03. That's on Instagram. So if you want to ask questions or shout out, I'm here.
Awesome. And I'm your host, Kantoinette. You can follow me on Instagram at Kantoinette_the blogger, or you can follow the Let's Build Futures page at Let's_Build_Futures. Visit letsbuildfutures.com. And you can also email me any questions, any concerns, any topic ideas at allthingslbf. That's allthingslbf@gmail.com. I'll be happy to read your letters or answer your questions on the next episode. But this has been a great one, and until next time, bye.